right now on Critical Discourse, the Monroe North Hub and DeVos Place Convention Center. This is Critical Discourse. My name is Todd.
I'm Kevin.
Kevin, did you think my intro was too much the last time?
It was a little too much.
I was trying to raise the stakes a little bit, give it real punch, to match my enthusiasm for the Monroe North neighborhood and all that's happening there.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's a big one. There's a bunch of new venues that are there, and we've made the decision to put the Monroe North Hub right in Center City, in front of DeVos Place
Not
Convention
right in
Center.
Center City. DeVos Place it's more like the gateway to the Monroe North neighborhood.
This is true, right? Yes,
That's how you
it's
think
you
about it.
can see Monroe North from where that Monroe North hub will be, and the reason we did that is because so many, literally hundreds of thousands of people go through DeVos Place Convention Center. A lot of those people don't know about the exciting stuff that's happening in Monroe North. We figured that would be a great point to be a visitor dispersion point, so that they'll be energized by DeVos Place and then go to Monroe North from there. Because there's some great shows in Monroe
Yeah,
North.
there's a lot going on up there.
The City Water Building is one that's going to be exciting and new. But first, let's hear from Eddie Tadlock, the Assistant General Manager over at SMG. He manages DeVos Place and Van Andel Arena, about the shows they're going to be putting on there this year. So you've had your artist, you have an artist who's won ArtPrize. You've had second, third place finishers. You've had, it's generally a pretty highly decorated show because of how many people come through this venue. I mean, it's right in this turning point that people come from the west side, from the Ford. They, stop at DeVos Place, and then it kind of becomes the gateway to the rest of the city. Are you surprised, or were you surprised in that first year just how many people were coming through?
Not at all. I mean, this is kind of like, we call it the center of the universe.
Yeah.
Because number one, we have a bus stop right out front. So we get a lot of school kids come in, they'll drop off busloads of kids who come in, storm through the building.
Right.
And remind them not to touch the art, but it's usually the adults that want to touch the art, not
Sure.
the kids. But we weren't surprised because also it's our busy time in the convention center and the performance hall.
Okay.
So we already have a full house.
So nobody works harder than Eddie Tadlock during ArtPrize.
Hardest
guessing.
worker in the city. So I
It's
tell
true.
myself.
That is not an overstatement at all. This guy is constantly going. This year you have something different. You have a pavilion that is new for DeVos Place. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've decided to do a pavilion with artists from the Upper Peninsula, the UP. So it's dubbed the UP Pavilion.
Nice.
And it's to showcase those artists in that part of the state and bring some attention to the art culture that's up there that not many people venture up to the
Right.
UP.
You're really excited about it. We had over 75 artists apply to be part of the
Yes,
show.
we had 75 artists who applied to be in the pavilion, and we selected 26
Great.
to be in the pavilion. And a great assortment, 2D, 3D sculptures, wood, metal, like the whole gambit. So it's a good representation of the diversity of art that's happening up in the UP.
That's great. So Eddie Tadlock, it's truly a labor of love for DeVos Place. Curating art shows is not your mission, but the work and effort that you put into it is truly an example for others. So thanks, Eddie. And this is the Monroe North Hub right here at DeVos Place. So we're going to go outside and take a look at exactly where that hub is going to be and tell you a little bit more about it. The Monroe North Hub is going to be placed right here, and you might wonder, why do we have the Monroe North Hub that's actually in front of a venue that's in Center City? Well, I tell you what, there's about 300,000 people that go through these doors, and we want those hubs to interact with the most amount of ArtPrize visitors as possible. So right over my shoulder is the Monroe North neighborhood. You can see it right down there, and I'm right next to a Silver Line stop. The Silver Line stop is a great downtown circulator, and the Silver Line downtown is free all throughout ArtPrize. You don't even need one of the Metro passes. The Silver Line stops are free. Right across the street is where the Dash stops. So if you're visiting ArtPrize during a weekday, you can use the free Dash shuttle service to take you down to Monroe North. But if you don't have those options, don't worry. It's not far. It's just 1 block away, and there's a whole host of new venues that are on Monroe North. There's some beautiful river walks, art that's in the parks over there. So Monroe North is definitely a neighborhood not to miss. So yes, a UP pavilion.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see what artists come down from the Great North.
Yeah. Now you did you jury a show at Northern Michigan University?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I juried a show at Northern Michigan University in Marquette one time of artists from Northern Michigan, Northern Wisconsin, and Northern Minnesota.
Cool.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of incredible talent up in that region.
Yeah. Also, I mentioned in the intro the City Water Building. So that's another exciting Monroe North exhibition that's happening.
Yeah, Rich App is a gallery owner and independent curator who's done a lot of ArtPrize projects. He was involved with Nessie the first year.
Yeah.
Was a part of the team that made that.
Steam Pig, right?
He was involved in Steam Pig. He was involved in a lot of other great projects, and so he's working with the city of Grand Rapids to fill this kind of underused water plant building with some really great stuff.
Now, it's not abandoned, it's just underused? Are they treating water in there?
I'm
What's
not
happening?
sure what the current status of it is, but it's a very cool building that people don't get to enter very often.
Yeah.
And so ArtPrize becomes an excuse to get in there.
Totally, and that's one of the few places. A lot of these buildings are kind of vanishing around Grand Rapids with all the development. So it's one of those spaces that has some exciting potential to it. A whole other exciting area is the West Side, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit, where there's a whole bunch of new development, new venues that are happening there, and that'll be, I think, next week on Critical Discourse. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share.